All righty. So here we are. This is exciting and fun. So I've had the pleasure to meet this amazing woman, and we're going to go through that in our story here, but this is going to be really awkward. So we're going to be like, hey, what do we do with our hands? This is our first recording, so don't beat us up too bad. But we love people so much, and we just want to share and plug into to help people see how we can help them overall. And we came from the same background, big box retailers, working up in the corporate world and executive levels, and just wanted to share our story of why and how we got plugged together and how we got to meet. So, Amanda, I'd love to hear. Tell a story about your retail experience and why you loved it so much and how you've kind of made that transition. We'll go into that a little bit more. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you for the warm introduction, but you are also amazing.
you're so good.
Um, but yeah, I loved my career. I started right out of college and just fell in love with what I called organized chaos. I was fascinated by this was like real, maybe a little weird, but I was fascinated by how many people and like how complicated it was just to put a tube of toothpaste on a shelf. Like so many
Mhm,
things had to happen for that to actually work. And so I thought that
mhm.
was just really cool. Um, but I loved it. I definitely like worked my way off. I have lots of stories throughout the journey of in
No
store
way.
and
Never.
out of store. But leadership was really what I would say was probably the one of the best things. Leadership and relationships. Like, man, the people that you go through battles with,
Mhm.
they're your people like forever. And so that was pretty awesome. Beautiful
Definitely.
company, amazing company, but retail is retail. And it doesn't matter where you are. Like there's not a greener grass in retail at the end of the day. Like it's retail. And so I got to a point where it was the money was not outweighing the time I was giving up, particularly because of my son. And so I had my little baby bear. He was 3 at the time where it was kind of one of those moments where it was like I was in a really large, amazing, incredible position. Um, but having, you know, over 10,000 people that you were responsible for, there's something happening just all the time. Life happens, right?
Mhm.
To everybody all of the time. And so it was really hard for me to be present and to really be who the mom I wanted to be. And so I was able to say thank you. I was in a beautiful spot when it came to debt and debt management and have house paid off and cars paid off, no credit card debt. So it was like we were able to say like I could say thank you for this beautiful opportunity, but I gotta move on. I gotta find something else. And so
Deuces. Time to
I
roll.
yeah, like I love you. I gotta go. I'm all set. I'm all done. I got my retail fill. But
For
yeah,
sure.
and then kind of stumbled into this. So like I know that you're kind of similar with that, right? As far as like finding the moment when it was kind of like I
Mhm.
think that it's time for a transition. What was yours kind of like?
Yeah, so I was going through, it's been a few years since I've been in big box retail, but definitely a change happened as I was spending more time and I realized I was just chasing the next promotion. I didn't get very high in the company. I don't think it was that high, but maybe it was pretty good. I was making, salaried
Yeah.
employee and was looking to just get the next promotion because that was the next best thing to do that I knew. I
Mhm.
started with the company at 17 years old in high school, just opened a store, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I think I applied to be a cashier, and I just don't know what to do with my hands. And I started as a cashier, and then I did like no time on a register because the store wasn't even open yet. We opened the store, and I got into health and beauty, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go push product, and I was 17. I mean, I was just looking to meet more people and girls specifically. That's kind of why I love retail and the money and all the things with it. And I loved it. Just being able to front things and meet new people and see the products and all this. Again, it's like to put toilet paper and toothpaste on the shelf. Why is there so much that goes into that? So I started working my way up, got to team lead roles, and what's interesting is I didn't even think I was going to stay that long for 14 years, but just working up the ranks, I had a really awesome leader and manager that said, "Hey, this was one of the first traps." He said, "Hey, by the way, if you become a team leader or a hourly manager, we'll pay for your college and we'll pay you more money." And I was like, "Wow, let's go ahead." I was in doing architecture degree, and I was starting in technical schools and in college and all these things. And then he was like, "Hey, by the way, if you go ahead, amazing leader, I loved him, one of my mentors growing through the company." But he said, just become a team leader. And I didn't realize that was just to like drink the juice even more, to be more bought in, to then
Maybe
get,
like a new flavor. Maybe
yeah,
they were like, this one is fruit punch.
right. Look
Started
at
with
this poor
orange.
19-year-old that doesn't know who's attracted, that's going to figure this out, that the money's going to be good, that all these things. So I started to work up into the ranks. And also they started paying for college every year. I was like, oh, this is great. Like I don't have to come out of school with any debt. And then I started also going up different ranks and different levels, and executive roles and different stores, and just meeting amazing people. It was like the first place that I got to speak in front of people. I was always so shy. You would never. A lot of people are very shocked when they first meet me. They're like, "There's no way you're shy." I think I'm an introvert in most cases, but sometimes I can be extroverted when I need to be. And so I've loved the journey so far and what I've learned in retail. uh, Definitely nothing I can compare to it from my learning experience. So I just was going up the ranks in different stores, and I was newly married, and I realized something had to change because my wife and I split up for a little bit, and it was tough. Um, I thought that's what she wanted, right? Is stability and money and all these things. She wanted me more than anything. And that was the moment that I realized, man, I got to make a change. And I met some amazing people in finance, and I've always been passionate about finance. And now I had a way to then take control of my time, my money, my relationships, instead of just trading my time for money. So I read a really awesome book called Rich Dad Poor Dad that also taught me how to develop and grow into use a tool that's going to help me in the long run. And that's when I kind of started seeing the writing on the wall. I was like, wait, I'm kind of trapped here, and what's the next role? And I would get written up if I didn't get a certain KPI, and it was just a burnout for my relationships. And luckily, and I'm very blessed that I was able to get back to uh, with my wife at the time, and we're still happily married. We've been blessed with multiple kids, and but there was a pivotal point in that transition when I realized I had to go do my own thing. um, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. And I'm so blessed that I've learned everything with this big box retailer. But I know there's more out there now, and
Mhm.
that's the mission of this call and this interview, and so much more. We have so many stories. We're gonna have a lot of
Yeah.
fun in this. I really know it. And we're gonna have more retail workers, different companies, different things like that, just come in to see why we're very passionate about what we do. So that's what we're gonna get into as well. So Amanda, I'd love to hear how we met. I know we met relatively recently, but ever since every call, we probably go more than an hour if we needed to. It would
Yeah.
probably be like 2 or 3 hours. But what is it that? How did we meet, and what kind of sparked that interest in this conversation?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, it was actually really cool. Again, like both of us have said, like the relationships and the people and everything, that is what made that whole when drama was happening or the chaos was happening ensued, you always had like awesome people doing it right there with you. So that was really
Yes,
cool.
yes.
So yeah, so I want that same like feeling, and that was really something I was looking for. And I'll get into later about like why, I do what I do and why I love it. But the way we met was because we were at this awesome event. It's called Prosperity Bowl. Um, Annual event that our executive vice chairman puts on, and he is phenomenal. And it is a couple days of just positive energy, positive
Mhm.
conversations of the hard and then the great and the successful, as well as just life journeys. It's wonderful, but it's really
Mhm.
fun because again, we're across all. 50 states and Puerto Rico. And so like
Yes.
we work a lot together, but we're not
Mhm.
here together. We don't have to be in an office because we're remote. So like we get to
Yeah.
talk to whoever we want. And thank you to Zoom.
Hmm.
Because they help us do this. But so when we get together, it is like, holy smokes, I get to see you in person versus like a little box on the screen.
Right.
And which just makes it so fun. But we actually got connected because of our networking skills, is how I would say it. I mean, or
Hmm.
the universe, or like whatever you want to say. But
Yeah. No
um
coincidences, but also I was like, I gotta find this girl.
so I work really closely with a guy named Charles, who is fantastic. But he actually works a lot with skill bridges, so military that are transitioning out of the military into the civilian workforce. And him and I got connected. That's a whole another story, but him and I got connected. And so I kind of joined this team with him to be that person that would help out. And although I'm a civilian with my background, he really appreciated my background, and therefore I could communicate really well to a large scope. And so he always knew I was his retail gal. Like he was like, I
Nice.
have a retail gal, and
That's awesome.
pretty good level retail gal. And so it was just random that I walked up to Charles and you were standing there, and I don't know if Charles and y'all were talking, but literally he was like, "Oh, speak of the devil," and he was like, "Amanda, guess what? Robert is also in retail." And I was like, "No way!" And I love meeting other people that have been in retail, especially big box, because I'm like, oh, we're gonna be best
Hmm.
friends because
Yep.
we have probably very similar experiences. And so
The
yeah,
trauma
we
bond.
trauma bond. We will talk so much about that. It's so true. It's beautiful, but trauma. But so yeah, so we got to talking very quickly, and it was like, hey, we should set up some time just to call. And honestly, Robert, you have an incredible kind of crusade that you're going on, and I think it's beautiful of what you're trying to do to help people. I have, my crusade is to I want to bring choice back into people's lives instead
Hmm.
of their money always telling them what to do, because
Right.
it does. How do you actually take back that control and have a choice? Especially being single mom, I didn't want to have to choose my career or time with my son. I wanted to be able to do both. And I've been able to find that here. And so that's what makes me, again, super passionate about this, is like, this is an opportunity. And I'm also helping people with their own finances get back choice, especially later in life. Like, how long do you want to work for?
Right.
70? Because that's the path you're on. Like,
That's what
no,
you're signed up for. You don't even know it.
that's right. So it's like, how do I help balance that for them? But there's so many amazing things we can talk about this. But yeah, that's how we met and how we got connected. And we've just every week been able to have a call and
Hmm.
kind of brainstorm, but also I think like just relieve a little bit of the memories that we
Yeah.
maybe have been shoving down deep inside of us
Yeah.
for a long time. Yeah, it's been amazing. It's
That's
awesome
awesome.
to sit with you.
Yeah, that's been fun. And so the way that I connected and you picked up right there was Charles was on stage and he was like, "Hey, you know what is the best way to build this business is to work with people that help your or that fit your struggles." So he was like, "I came from military, that's what I knew, but I work with this person with nurses. I work with this person with executives. I work with," and I was like, wait. That sounds like a company that I work with too, or I used to work with. And so then after he stepped off stage, I was like, all right, I got to find this guy because just getting to know another retail person, you're like, oh man, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of dorky and weird, but I know there's going to be a lot of people that we're going to help and serve as well, not just with their finances, but just giving them opportunity to see that, hey, you don't have to like jump full in like we did. We love it. And I'm not saying that's the only option, but like start taking a look at some options too. Like have a plan B. A lot of people like I've heard of crazy companies that are closing their doors, and it hasn't been new. But Joanne Fabrics is an example that I'm thinking of. Is like, man, how many people are getting laid off because they didn't have a plan B and they're scrambling and they're trying to keep their store
Oh,
afloat, even though it's wild.
Party
And
City. Party
Party
City are the
City,
people
yep,
that
is
I'm
another
talking to
one.
a lot right now, that it's just like gone.
Yep.
That's tough.
Yes.
That's so tough.
It is. And so I was like, all right, we got to connect. And I know Amanda's amazing because she's got all these different aspects, but it's like we don't have to just do what we're really good. I mean, the goal is to do what we're really good at and then have and leverage and work as a team to
Mhm.
help people with what they're not. And so Amanda loves, I'll put it out there, she loves the financial part of it, building things and calling up companies and figuring out the best plans for people. And I'm like, yeah, I don't love that, to be honest. And so now I know, hey, I can work with Amanda really closely to help people out with if it is, an old target, an old company 401k or anything like that, that they can start to grow and into something that they don't have to worry about losing money in the market and have something that they could protect and grow their wealth for retirement. So they're not 70, no offense, but greeting people at the door or running around on a register and things like that. I want to give people choice as well. So your crusade is really powerful because I've seen just giving that option, people are looking for us. And that's what I want to do is just give the option to people and say, hey, we've been there. We know exactly what it's like. We don't have all the answers, but we're looking to help people get to a solution that they can have an out, that they have options and not feel like they're stuck at a certain company forever because the grass is only so green any other company you go to. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so
just connect.
true.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is, and it's hard, and it's hard to I mean, everybody says like, "Oh, you don't understand or you don't know." And I'm like, there's a little bit of that. Like in the retail world of like,
Mhm.
if you've never worked retail, don't think you quite understand it. You
It's like
literally is like,
retail and restaurants and
oh,
like all of those niche that you're like, you don't know until you've been in the war zone of it, and you're like,
yeah, like, oh, you're just a hostess. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, let's get into that
yeah,
conversation. That was terrible. I vowed, I was like, I'm out. I'm never working retail again. Like, I was 16. I was like, that was the worst experience of my
wow,
life. And then I was like,
yeah,
oh, retail sounds better. Went into retail. And then, but seriously, like I appreciate the connections that
yes,
we get to make. And it's funny because back in the day when I used to tell people where I worked and what I did, they would be like, oh, you're a cashier. I'm like, I'm not I'm not sure why you have associated that like only
oh,
cashiers
you
work.
fold baby clothes, yeah,
Oh,
I
I didn't even
started,
get that far. They were like, surely you just like stand at the register. I'm like, okay. I mean, sure, I do register work. That's what I do. So it's really fun to meet people that are like, no, no, you've been in the trenches. And it's like, yep, sure have. It's very different.
it is, and
Yeah.
especially we have like in those roles, there's a lot of emphasis on you have a lot of control over other people's lives and livelihood, and that's
Yes.
kind of scary. Is like you don't realize, but because a company incentive or to get a bonus you make payroll and to make payroll you have to cut people's hours and then you have to lay off
Yep.
you have to
Yep.
hire seasonal there's like all these things that I have a lot of gray you can't really tell because I'm bald but it's down here somewhere is like man how
It's
many
just moved.
decisions yeah how many decisions you make that affect other people's lives and we do the same thing here but it's a different scale and very powerful what we get to do as well with people's finances and show them financial literacy because it's something there's examples of 401k that I started when I was 21 because that's the legal age I could with my company and my mom just said hey go throw money towards a 401k and I was like I don't even know what that is so sure why not and that's all I was raised on and knowing how to put money away and I'm blessed I used that money to invest in other things and be able to grow um, but we have something really powerful here where we get to help people see how taxes work and how money grows and how all these things go together. So, thank you I'm glad you're open to the conversation because this has been a lot of fun. Every Monday, I know we're going to connect and be able to have that time
Yeah.
of bonding.
But
Uh,
fun fact, as soon as you said seasonal staffing, my stomach literally like flip-flopped.
turned. Yeah.
I was like, that's still a trigger word for me. I'm like, seasonal staffing, seasonal staffing. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot. All right. So I have another question. So tell me about a time you needed to get out and you were like, hey, this time, maybe you've said, I'm going to leave here so soon. I'm going to go find another retailer. But what was the time that you actually took action on that decision? What was it that was like the turning point?
Yeah, I will tell you the first time, like I was not, so to your point, like we've all had moments where it's like, I'm quit. Like, I don't want to do
Yeah.
this anymore. But then you're like, there's some sort of like loyalty pull that just
Hmm.
brings you back in. You just feel like I would have this immense guilt over that after like I got yelled at by a customer because of X, Y, and Z. But
And then you would get pulled in and be like, it's okay. You'll be fine. There was a really good leader. Usually they're ready to step
yes.
in. Hmm.
Yes, because again, great leadership, loved it. And so,
Yes.
or there'd be like, or a peer that was really, that was like took you under their wing kind of thing. And they were like,
Yeah.
let me tell you mine. And I'm like, please tell me, like, what
Yeah.
happened? And so,
We'll stay up till 4 a.m. talking about it. So anyway,
absolutely. And I'm like, but
yeah.
can you help me do the truck? So the first time was when I really, really, really came close was I was overnight. I was an overnight logistics person. So just throwing trucks, um, with a really unhappy team that was always tired. Nobody ever got enough sleep. You never actually change your sleep cycles for overnight. Everybody's like, oh, your body gets used to it. No, it does not. That's a lie. Don't go into that trap. It's not real. And I was done. I was just straight burned. Like I was out. And that's when they actually were like, really great leader, really great district leader, really great story leader. Story leader brought me in and was like, I heard you might be looking for another job. And I was like, absolutely. I've been looking for like 3 months now. Like, get me out of here. I want it out. I told you I want it out. And he was like, yep,
Mhm.
okay, she's serious. And it was like, wow. And like, I'm not even kidding you, like 2 weeks later, my district leader brought me in his office, which was like a big deal, and kind of gave me an option of what I wanted to do next. And I wound up choosing HR. And like, who knew that was going to be taking somebody who was very disgruntled? I was very disgruntled, overnight, angry human, and they put me in a job where I was supposed to help all the people. I was like, I think it might be crazy, but it was gorgeous. It was beautiful, and I loved it. And I wouldn't be the person I am today if all these things obviously hadn't to fallen into place. And so,
Mhm.
but really it was the family time that just hit me. It was actually a soccer practice,
Hmm.
5:30 on a Friday, just like the middle of the year, not like holiday, nothing crazy, just like, I don't know. It was hot. So I'm in Texas, so it was probably like June. Um, and I couldn't get through 45-minute, I'll say practice. He was sitting in the goal the whole time. So excellent goalie. And he just sat
Yeah.
in it. But
Nice.
I couldn't even stand there and watch him sit without I called this like my electronic leash. Like I had to
Mhm.
have it with me all the time. I was the person, which that is the role I wanted and the responsibility I wanted to go into, right? So
Mhm.
it wasn't that I was really tired of the company or really tired of much about it except for the demand it really had on me and my time.
Mhm.
That's what I wanted to change. And that's when it was like, I think I can do other things and still make an incredible, income and provide and but also love my life. And
Mhm.
I think I can find that. I'm gonna bet on myself to find that. And I found
There
it.
you go.
Mhm.
Wow. That's powerful. Yeah, it's usually I found it often like because I hit that moment too. I would hit like, "Hey, I'm good. I've got this leader that popped in and helped me out and saved and, just helped lift your spirits." But then it's usually for me it was like a Thanksgiving and I was just
Familiar.
getting my relationship back in order and everything was going well and then it was like, "Hey, by the way, the normal Wednesday overnight to prep for Thanksgiving open for some reason why you need to be open on a 2 p.m. or which means you have to be there an hour early to do the guard at the
Minimal.
door and the yeah
Minimal.
minimal and no
Some
you're yeah
Yeah, everybody was shifted. Some had to be there 4 hours because they had to make sure everything was set. And then some people had to be there 2 hours because they had to make sure the registers were good, because
yeah
that's all we did. That was our job.
Yeah.
according to most people. And
Audit.
then
Yeah.
everybody and then everybody else there at least an hour before, and then someone's got to go outside and hype up the crowd because that's what they needed, more hyping for the
Yeah, it was
chaos
like,
that would
no,
ensue.
you five, and then you five, and then just don't tackle anybody for the TVs, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was the one where I was like, yeah, it's my exit strategy now. I needed to figure it out, because it was leaving at, I think it was like 2 or 3, and the family doesn't even eat dinner till 4 or 5. Like even Thanksgiving, you eat dinner normally early. I still
Hmm.
couldn't be there. And then I worked till 2 a.m. and it was fun. Like we did a lot of cleanup and prep for the next day, but then you came back in at 8 a.m. on the Friday and you're like, okay, this is the weekend from hell. And it's only Friday. You have the rest of the weekend.
Because you got different ads you got to set up.
Yeah,
We haven't gone
Wednesday,
there. We
the
won't go into
Tuesday ad,
that.
the all these ads, and I'm like, man, this is driving me nuts. And
Brutal.
I'm grateful for everybody that's in retail still because some of them don't know that story because now it's like, well, Fridays we'll open. I was like, where was I back then? And it's okay, but
Ah!
it's part of the learning process, right?
It's
Like,
because of our feedback. It's because of our feedback they made beautiful changes for the people that are in front of us. I always
yes.
said,
Hmm.
like on your way out, like give the feedback because then
100.
you're doing your part and potentially maybe somebody won't have to go through what you went through.
And they aren't, which is a blessing. There you go.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. It only took a couple years and probably
It's
COVID and all the things to, yeah, it's okay.
fine.
I'll say it was my feedback, but
it it was you and me.
yeah,
This is what
it
this
was.
this is that was what we did. You're
It
welcome.
was.
You got Thanksgiving back. You're welcome.
Yep. I'll bow. I'll take the bow. I'll take the tip later. Um,
Yeah.
but perfect. Yeah, I love that and not love it, but it's like sometimes there's a turning point that you have to change and switch your mindset and definitely that's when I started getting into those finance books and like how business owners work and how investors work and how they think differently. And so that's when I went down that path. But I would love to know, how did you get introduced to this business as a financial strategist? Like where you were strolling along and you're like, oh, cool, finance.
I really was just strolling around along to tell you the truth. So like after like when I left, I was like, wait, I've got to like de-retail my brain. And so
Hmm.
like learning to put my phone down, learning that I'm not in an
Wow.
emergency situation all the time. Like I had to go through that. So but I
Hmm.
started probably like 6 or 8 months later, really actually looking for something. And I wanted it to be still in HR, but honestly, most of the industries that were looking to hire me or I got offered, um, they were like banking industries. And
Hmm.
again, everybody has,
Their
whatever,
stuff.
yeah, you do you, boo. But like banking is not my jam,
Hmm.
because I need, I need the interaction, but really I need something that's going to like really get the creative
Help you
side
grow.
and the strategy. Yeah. And like,
Hmm.
I don't know. And then the other piece was I wanted, if I'm going to spend my time not with my family, then I want that time to be extremely valuable for people, not for a
Hmm.
company, for people.
Yes.
And that, because that's what's important in life is people.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
we
Because
are
they make the
social
company.
creatures.
It's weird. They.
I know. So I was really trying to find that. A lot of people wanted like HR compliance, and that's like the blech of HR.
Yeah.
Those of you that are HR out there, you know that. That's not what we do. We don't just like
Mm-mm.
hire and fire people. Like that's not
No.
what HRs do, but that is the
Nope.
perception. Don't get in
Yes.
trouble and go to the HR office. I'm like, what?
You know, we're
Your
the
boss
we're
is
the
my
we're the
boss.
fixer of things. We bring it all together and
Like, same boss. And they're like, nah, you're kind of the boss. I'm like, no, I'm not. I am not, but sure, thank you. Um, but really, so I wasn't really finding anything that I loved. And then it was a random LinkedIn. So although even like haters of the haters are gonna hate about LinkedIn, but I'm telling you, there are gemstones out there, man. And
Mhm.
I was randomly found. They just said, "Are you looking for a change, a career change?" And I was like, yes,
Well, yeah.
absolutely.
How'd you
Turns
know?
out. Yeah. And honestly, it took me like 2 months to actually say, all right, let me do this. Let me do this own business situation thing. And that
Mhm.
was really based out of fear than anything else. Of just like, I don't know, I'm gonna run my own business. I want to. That's what I've always wanted to do, but
Mhm.
I was real hesitant. But I kept interviewing and it just was like, bleh, like nothing just really sat with me. And so I
Mhm.
was like, meh, whatever. This is like a low risk, HR. I'm always risk assessing. I was like, low
Yeah.
risk, could be high reward. I was like, meh, okay, I'll try it. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it because of what I'm doing for people. And
Mhm.
not only
Mhm.
that, but my favorite thing and skill set is in talent and like developing talent and helping people, you know, really reach their potential and some. And then
Mhm.
as well, I love developing them and then watching them promote and then watching them like go do amazing things.
Achieve
I like
achieve
to be
amazing
the
things. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like there, I
Mhm.
had an amazing leader. Shout out to Dave, who always said, do you want to be great or do you want to do great things? And I was like, that's just, I love that. And I want to do great things. I don't need to be great. I want to do great things for other people. And so
Mhm.
that's always stuck with me. And just this really matched that. Like I get to do great things for other people, whether I'm developing them and helping them build their own business so they can have the life they want, or
Mhm.
helping other people just get out from underneath some really crushing, financial situations that they're in. Like whatever it
Mhm.
takes, I'm here for it. And that's why I stuck. That's why I've stayed. And that's why I'm still here. And I have some like just absolutely like badass people on my team. They are
Mhm.
beasts, like such impressive humans. And then I have some just really cool stories that I've been able to really make some large impacts on people's lives. And that's just like, and I get paid. Like turns
Yeah,
out, and I can make an income. So
exactly.
it's pretty cool
Yeah.
for sure.
That's been something that I've loved is you still have an impact and you're not affecting 10,000 employees or anything like that, but just making an impact on people. I heard a really good Zig Ziglar quote is like, if you help enough people get what you want, you get everything or if you help enough people get
Yeah.
what they want, you get everything you want. And I was like, man, just think about how many people we get to pour into. And I've been kind
Mhm.
of in that same boat of like, yeah, I don't know. I wanted a business and I wanted to do my own thing, but what does that look like? This is a very low, like what we're talking about is financial strategy and helping people with financial plans and uh, building our own finance agency, essentially. And we're strategists. We help people from debt collection or debt management to emergency funds to building retirement wealth, legacy planning, all of these different things that I've been passionate about. I was like, wait, we can help people. I used to just help people with their credit and then say, hey, good luck, not knowing that I could be getting paid on that. So I loved that piece too. Is like, how can I do this, which I'm very passionate about, but also be able to help people in their lives. We all have a story, and
Mhm.
I didn't come from HR, but I knew coming from a single mother family, like we all have stuff, and the more that we can connect with people and share with them, hey, it is finance, but you don't have to be great at finance. It's really just getting to know problems and solving them, and being knowing what answers to find for them. And so
Yeah.
just bringing all that together has been really fun for me. But then I also saw the potential of like building my own agency where you mentioned you have agents on your team that are killing it, that they're serving so many families. Like there's another thing that I learned in this industry is you can do a lot on your own, but you could do so much more with duplicating and systemizing and making something that you can, if you can share with somebody how to fish, you're going to make a lot more fish. So let's just help thousands of people learn about finance and be bought in and connected with this community. I think it's going to be really powerful who we get to serve and plug into with retail because there's so many people that learn such amazing things. Like I said, I was at a huddle and scared about talking in front of people. I've grown so much through that retail experience, but also in this industry, if you're not growing, you're stagnant. And I love that piece too, is getting uncomfortable, taking cold showers in the morning, cold baths with people that you're fired up and excited about. I was doing a little dance before our call. So we like to have some fun, but I'm also very goofy. And it's nice because I'm building my own business and I can work with whomever I want to. And not just because the store's blown up. So we got this logistics manager from some other store to help fix it. And I'm like, no, no, no. I get to work with who I want to. And that's really powerful. So,
Yeah, you did say that you like to take cold baths with other people, so I just want to make sure that
yeah, that's okay. Cold showers
that's
by
not.
myself, and they could take a cold shower on their own. It's I'm
That's my
down.
favorite part so
Actually,
far.
I have some friends that we went hiking once and we were going for a cold bath. I was like, all right, sure. And we did barefoot hiking. So that was TJ, you're out there. Thanks, bro. Uh
Wow, wow, wow. There's
it
so
was all
many things
men
to
too.
unpack there.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack for
Okay,
sure.
we're gonna go with no. Everybody shower alone. Everybody take cold baths on their own. But
Yes. But
how about it with a cold plunge if that's you?
yeah,
You do you, boo.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, TJ, whoever you may be, I'm
It
not
was
going on that trip.
and some other guys, yeah.
Okay.
Um
Okay.
so I also put like what is a question that I would ask is like, was it finance that got you, or what was it that
Mm.
you mentioned you were just like in the right spot at the right time for this to be introduced to you. But is there something about
Yeah.
finance that sticks out to you a little bit more?
Um, well, yeah. Here's where I like what there's so many things that I could say in there. And this could be about a 7 hour like introduction
Yeah.
podcast. And so I
Well,
won't
we
do
can
that.
bring it up next time too. So,
Oh, we have so many things we'll bring up. Yes. But I would tell you, so my kind of mantra in life, especially as an HR, was always how important mental health, physical health, and financial health was.
hmm,
And like I said, I was really passionate about debt and not having debt and how to get yourself out of debt because you wanted your money to be your money and not have to give it away every single month to others. So many reasons that I won't go into my passion around debt, but yes, debt. But I didn't know a lot of other things outside of that. Like I knew you should invest. I knew that you should have a portfolio that's diversified, but I didn't know what diversified in. In my brain, I was like, oh, just like a whole bunch of stocks. Like I don't know.
right. I
And
got
so,
you.
I know I need like a Roth IRA, but also stock crypto. I don't know. So that is like amazing just because the education I got here, I got more education here than you could ever get in school
Wow.
for the price of investing in myself and getting my own license. So like, cool. Again,
Hmm.
low risk, high reward. At least I was getting education. Like,
Right. Wow.
deal. Um, but what really brought it all together is I've had a lot of passion around and done a lot of work around mental health, not only just mine, but helping other people through that. And then physical health, I'm really passionate about. Doesn't mean you have to be a workout person or anything. It's just about how you take care of yourself. And then the financial part, now I have some expertise around it. And so
Hmm.
I can actually, what really is happening is that because I can help people with that base of finance, it actually impacts their physical health and their financial health. Because if any one of those is not in a great place, all three of them are in a bad place. And so it's really important. It became really important for me to help in that way. And then I think probably what really got me was helping a really young, like I'll tell you, like 26-year-old transitioning veteran. She was overspending her account by $500 every month. And I was like, I'm not sure how you're doing this. This isn't like monopoly money. What are we doing here? And
Yeah.
she didn't know where to go and what to do. And she was doing her best. She had two jobs. Like she was just working like crazy. And so we started doing budgeting and I was talking to her and we went through her expenses specifically. And she realized that she was spending over $250 between fast food and cigarettes. So she was a smoker too. And without me even having to have a conversation with her, she was like, I'm gonna quit. I was like, what are we doing here? Because expenses, you can't do it like a diet. Like diets only last for like a month, if that.
Yeah.
So like you can't, that's not how you do expenses. So I'm like, whoa. Like you're like, you can't, I don't, can you just cut stuff out? And she was like, I'm gonna do it. I was like, okay. So she quit smoking cold turkey and quit doing fast food. And and then we status every month, I mean, every week for the next month of just like, where are you at? What are your budgets? Here's your paycheck. What did you spend? Like, da da da. And after about 5 weeks, she was actually flat on her expenses.
Wow.
And after 4 months, she actually had $2,500 in a savings account. She was to the good over $500 a month. And she had quit smoking and quit eating fast food. She lost 20 pounds. It
Did
was
she make
like,
more money?
So I actually, well, as we're talking through that, I actually helped prep her for her
Mhm.
interview to go and get a promotion, and she did. She got her promotion.
Oh.
I also helped her write a letter back to the lawyers to take another look at her disability pay from the military.
Hmm.
Because really, she deserved a whole lot more than the percentage she was given. And so, and then that opened up to where the lawyers actually were reviewing her case. And so
Wow.
then she actually started investing. And so it was like full circle. I was like,
Yeah.
this
From
bitch.
negative cash flow to, we'll have to break that down some more on another
Yeah,
call.
it was awesome. Like that was one of my favorite things. And she really wanted a piercing, a limb piercing right here, and a tattoo. And I was like, okay, girl, we'll just make a little fun for it. So
Hmm.
25 bucks per paycheck, let's just dump it in there and so we literally had like tattoo fund. And when she
Cool.
got her lip piercing, I was the first one she texted. When she got her tattoo, she was like FaceTiming me. I was like, this is awesome. I was like, this is such like what other job can you get this kind of stuff at? I was like, this
Yeah,
is so stinking cool. And so
that's cool.
it just brought like it was like I don't want to do this forever. Well, not really. I'm gonna retire here sooner than later, but
Yeah.
just just like of all work, like not
Yeah.
this job.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna work till I'm 70. I'm looking at 5 more years.
Yep.
Um,
5 more. And then I'll be like, man, I'm bored. Let me go help pour into more people. That's my goal is like, I want to be so bored for like 5 minutes and then be like, all right, whose
uh,
lives are we going to change now? So,
Oh, you better believe I'll be all up in that school system. I'll be somehow politicking about how we need to get actually financial education into our school system again because it used to
man,
be there and it's been out. So
that's your
that's
your bigger
my
mission.
oh yeah, when I'm
Right
like
on.
set like to where I don't have I'm not having to work every single all the time or whatever
Yeah.
and because
Mm.
gorgeous passive income that we will have
Yep.
Yep, we're gonna bring that back because
I
you
love
should
it.
feel wealthy in America, and we do not feel wealthy in America, and
Yep.
a large portion is education. At less
Yes.
than 8% of schools teach anything about finance, and then if you actually look at what they teach with personal finance, it's 0%. No
Yeah.
personal
It's like,
finance
hey, go
education.
make a lot of money for a corporation or do CPA work for a corporation or do
But you're gonna
bookkeeping.
start in debt because you should go to college and then you should be in really big debt. So you're gonna have to
Okay,
you're just gonna,
this will be have to be round two because it's like I go on rabbit holes and soapboxes and all the things that the
but I
nouns that
know.
we yeah that yeah we'll make that a discussion because it's pretty broken and they
Sure.
condition us to get really good at going to school and working a job and taking a lunch break and then driving home and then getting into debt and then more debt and then buy a house and
Getting
then
into debt.
buy a house and then get a student loan and get a okay. So we'll talk about that in another call. But thank you so much, Amanda. I'm excited to continue the conversation, and I know we'll have some guests on here and continue continue with what we're doing. So thank you so
Awesome.
much for your time.
Of course. We will talk soon.
All right, sounds good. Love you too. Bye. Oh,
Goodbye.
I think it's your recording button. Then
It's a recording button. You started the recording.
I know, but it's request host to start cloud recording. So if you hit record, it doesn't stop.
Let me see. Where is the
This is staying on
record?
the video. I'm gonna keep it the whole time.
That's what I wanted to do. And you were like, I don't know what to do. And I wanted to be like, because you were in this mode.
Yeah,
What
I was definitely in
what what are
this
we
mode.
doing?
It's my wedding white boy dance.